belong to that eliminated group that I told you about, which is an elite group, okay, of individuals which run the whole country. All right. Basically, what I did. Did you tell him how? Did you explain to him about the message? Or
No, please elaborate.
On Thursday, to Friday, basically, I went to Donald Trump. I went through the gates. I took I jumped the fence and I took the American flag. I put it in the front desk and I blew the chandelier. Basically, what I did that for is to transmit a statement to the American people and to Donald Trump that we're not accepting any more corruption and abuse from their system of friends. Okay? Donald's still blind because he thinks that he let Hillary off the hook and she's okay. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm trying, okay.
Did you see the guy Jonathan Oddie?
No.
In 2018, it was a funny video, okay? And it was a guy who was in one of Trump's hotels in Miami. And he put an American flag on the desk and he was shooting a gun off. He had a wetsuit on.
Oh my God.
Barefoot. And you can see the security cam footage. And then he was from Dancing Bear, those of like the fake bachelorette parties.
Oh, this guy. Yeah. What the?
Okay. Yeah, dude, the security footage is hilarious.
He's Puff Daddy.
Okay, watch this.
That looks like the hallway where Puff Daddy put that beating on Sabrina or whatever.
He's doing it now too.
Whoa, so they put on socks and ran away from the cops on this floor.
What, they put Vaseline on the floor? That's a wicked good
No,
prank.
it's just socks on marble, dude. It don't work.
That's great.
Look at him.
He's doing great.
He's trying to...
Oh, that's impressive.
Wow.
What is he doing?
So then he got 3 times the leg. So cuts to this.
Helldiver, the super destroyer is ready for your next mission.
Mission coordinates locked.
Stormy situation, okay?
This is a Secret Service.
Found in the United States?
Yeah.
Just my dog Bubbles, my service dog. Yeah. Davies and Ross, which they good buddies, okay? They're gay.
Who?
Both. Diddy and Ross.
Rick Ross?
And Khaled.
Oh.
They're all gay, okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy.
Well, 3 years ago it was like, this guy's crazy.
Khaled is a Hamas supporter.
Hamas.
Okay?
Who supported?
Hamas. Hamas.
Yeah.
Sorry to say the wrong.
No.
Hamas supporter, okay? I had with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard lots.
Hidden in plain sight.
It's hidden.
I think I see what you're saying.
That's the
Okay,
bullshit.
how do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself
Yeah.
these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
It's the black people. Okay? I'm from Africa, so I'm not a racist. Okay, you my brother, so I like black people.
Okay.
My mom, I was raised by an African woman in my house. Okay. She was just a servant, but she was my
Sounds Brazilian.
You know,
He's
took care
South
of me.
African, but it sounds
So I know
retarded.
people.
Like,
Okay. I had settlement with Sean, okay? He's Donald Trump, okay? Because he used to belong to their side. You understand? He used to belong to that eliminated group that I told you about, which is an elite group, okay, of individuals which run the whole country. All right? Basically, what I did you tell him how? Did you explain to him about the message? Or
No, please elaborate.
On Thursday, to Friday, basically, I went to Donald Trump. I went through the gates. I took I jumped the fence and I took the American flag. I put it in the front desk and I blew the chandelier. Basically, what I did that for is to transmit a statement to the American people and to Donald Trump that we're not accepting any more corruption and abuse from their system of friends. Okay? Donald's still blind because he thinks that he let Hillary off the hook and she's okay. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm trying, okay. Keep going.
It ain't like that. The CIA, and then they want to do the same thing that they did to JFK. Okay?
All right.
Why? Because they want the United States to fall, they've already been creating a state of chaos and confusion in the United States. They want the United States to fall. Darwin was against their agenda and won the presidency. Okay, he did get help from Russia. He did get help from the Saudis. He also got help from a lot of Republicans in here, which is the electoral college vote. And he got a lot of support from Republican people. Okay.
From what?
The elections year.
Republican people.
Oh.
Holly Robinson Pete.
Okay. The elections, yeah, they were fair, but he wanted the electoral college votes.
The electrical college vote, you just
The
said.
Republican vote, basically, got him through.
This guy's
Okay.
100% truth, though.
So yeah, it was all. The only reason I remembered it was because it was like a weird ass guy from back in 2018. Then when the Diddy shit came out, which I was all wouldn't shut up about for 3 years because I couldn't. I was like, yo, you know about this? Because everybody's snitching now. His bodyguard, that Jaguar Wright chick sounds like the DJ from the Warriors. What she tells. And so,
Yeah, I like Jaguar. Right? Yeah, she's.
And she tells all, and so I love it. Like more snitching. I'm not. Those mafia guys all have a podcast now. It's great.
Which ones?
The whole mafia has a fucking podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
You know, and you know people get like, I don't know, Stockholm syndrome. Like, well, I don't like him. He's a snitch. I'm like, I'm not in the mob. Good. Keep snitching. I want to hear the story. So
that guy. Yeah. The pod.
So
Michael
he names,
Franchese.
dude. He names not Michael Franchese, but that Audi guy.
Yeah.
He starts naming connections to Hillary. He's Ron Burkle, who's a producer on a lot of movies. That
So he's not lying.
not at all. And then he disappears.
That guy. Adi?
Yeah, and I think he's actually in witness protection, not dead. Because so I didn't know this at the time because I didn't look into it, but he had been broke, and all of a sudden he has $5 million because that's what Diddy paid him. He thought Diddy was still going to kill him.
Huh.
And his wife was one of Diddy's lawyers in Miami. His ex-wife.
His ex-wife is one of Diddy's lawyers.
Yeah, he names Ben Meislis as a connection to the Boule. That's that Midas touch. You ever see Midas touch? Fucking like politics. All these like where it's like a young person saying Biden's great. Are the same guys that ran the thing on Rogan of he said the N-word. Remember they made that thing? That was they're like a hit team in DC for political hits. The Meislis brothers. It's called the Midas touch. So they're connected to it. Epstein is a blackmail thing. Diddy's thing is a blackmail thing.
Uh-huh.
Hugh Hefner was the same.
Oh yeah, he used to get he used to have the wipe tunnels and the cell phone wipe tunnel. You'd walk through it. It was the first guy in the 70s.
I didn't even know. I was telling Luke. I did Dave Lucas's thing. I'm telling him, and like, it was pig night was Thursdays. This is Newsweek. I'm reading this. It's not bunnies, it's pigs. It's all hookers. They test them so you can go up in them raw, you know. And then they come through the tunnel, and then there's a chick who has a syringe that goes around, or different syringe. She's called the bleeder. And while you're in the middle of this worm pile or whatever the fuck, she comes and draws blood out of your arm. It didn't say why, so I looked that up. I guess it's a sex thing of you lose some blood and you come really hard. Okay, I'm sure that works, but
Got it.
But not only that, like, what are you doing? You got all these famous, important people, and you have syringe. What are you doing with those syringes of their blood? Well, I'm sure there's all kinds of great things you could do with it.
Nothing.
Yeah, right.
Nothing. Why? Kurt, it's been a year. First of all, it's none of your business. Second of all, who gives a shit? Yeah, this is the tunnel with the early days cell wiper. I guess the scoop is with Hugh. He was obviously a CIA asset, but people back in the day when they had like, you're not gonna believe this. I got Burt Reynolds skull fucking a 2-day-old in a fucking hospital in San Antonio, Texas. They would like send it to Playboy magazine.
Yeah, right.
Like that's what like your average layperson retard would be like. You ain't gonna believe it. I got Elvis jerking off with a Great Dane and a blah blah blah. You know,
In plain sight, and all, you know, like that little UFO titty peek they did in the summer or whatever during pandemic of like, ooh, a dick tag.
Yeah. Which one?
They all sucked, but you know, that cult, they believe like they have to. It's like the iTunes agreement, like. They have to put it out in some way. You're not going to read it, and you'll be tricked. That's their religion. So they definitely have disclosed probably everything, but it's mixed with horseshit. So you got to pick the nuts out of that shit to figure out what the hell.
That's what Charleston White says. Charleston
He's
White.
right. He's fucking right.
He says that like Jaguar Wright is like 5% facts and like 95% bullshit.
Okay, well, she probably knows better than him, and I like his shit because I like that he's like those old gangsters people look up to. He trashes them because they fuck their lives up, and it's a bad
look.
And like even like rappers, like I would go, I don't know why I would get like that, but I would watch it and kind of like be on their side for murders in some way. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, that's the thing that's killing people. And then Ice Cube came out and he was like, and he's right, the people that own the private prisons own the record companies, and then we're gonna start putting out a lot more gangster shit.
Yeah.
And that's when the CIA brought crack in and cheap Chinese guns. And that was Iran-Contra, right? With Ollie North. Here's how you do mind control. It's actually real mundane. It's not even fantastical. All you got to do is, it's like mnemonic mind palace shit. You know, like Sherlock Holmes on the series with Sebastian Cumberbatch. He would go in his mind palace, you know.
Okay.
So that one of those techniques for memorizing, okay? And then they traumatize, it's like children. They traumatize the shit out of you because you get photographic memory from severe trauma, like people dressing up like Disney characters and you.
Yeah.
And then they store information in you. Then they electric shock you a bunch of times to make you forget what just happened to you. Then you could be passed around and somebody else just has to activate you and you'll relay the message. It's like the first iPhones.
Wow.
You can store info, send messages, jerk off on them, just like an iPhone. And then that's what they would do. And so now, if you're wondering why everybody's a retard now, is because mass rollout phase where nobody can remember shit for more than 2 months.
Yeah.
I mean, that's generous to say 2 months.
Yeah, that is.
And compartmentalization is the whole key to it, is to split your fucking, is identity, your gender, or race. Everybody has to be split by that. And then your left and right brain has to be split, your masculine and feminine side, so that you
Like
have to
the
be.
4-year-old split the old information you crack out, you sodomize a 4-year-old and you break him in half.
That's where they got it from.
Yeah.
So they saved about 80,000 after the war.
Yeah.
America did, and not just the scientists. We saved Mengele. They brought Mengele here.
They brought Rusty, who's just kind of a good local, like just a good guy. They were like, you got to bring him with us.
Just a good guy.
Hey, what's up,
Wait.
motherfuckers?
Everybody loves Rusty.
You can't forget him.
No, listen,
He
there are
doesn't
some
do-
crimes, but we know Rusty was cool,
Yeah, he
right?
was chill, dude. He'd always go get root beer for us.
Rusty's chill.
He's
you
a
know?
solid guy. Always has butts on him. Just
Yo.
good motherfucker.
I told Rogan he had this guy Ben Gertzel on that went to Africa with Epstein to map kids' brain waves. African kids' brain waves.
What? He went with Epstein there?
Yeah, Ben Gertzel. He wears like a Gilligan hat and he's got like a pushed-in nose. And he talks about AI and horseshit. All these nerds.
This sounds like some spooky haunted house kind of stuff, doesn't it?
Can we look up?
Yeah,
Like
what's
the way
the
Ben-
Epstein's New York house with the
Ben
wall
Gertzky?
glass eyeballs, and it says you're being watched.
Does it?
It
He,
looks-
he likes
yeah.
his art style is very. I'm playing a fun game with you.
Yeah,
He's got a
looks like an escape room, the whole place.
He's got a big giant sense of humor that he just can't
The
contain.
guy had
through
a
his art.
great sense of humor.
Yeah, it's
Well,
great.
I want to see Ben Gertzkin or whatever the guy's name is. Who's this guy?
Oh, eyeball wall.
I don't know how to spell that either. Yeah, this guy. You
Oh.
ever see him?
Oh, that's an ugly
What
fucking
the
guy right
fuck?
there.
Right, so
man.
that's how you get.
Looks
it
like
looks like a Trump shooter is what he looks like.
yeah.
So
And,
he went with Epstein on the
Old
plane to map
Trump,
brainwave.
Trump shooting.
It was Sophia the robot. You know, because there's not enough girls in STEM.
Sexy.
Oh, we've seen him talk on this podcast before. We've looked up videos of him.
Very cute.
He went. So I'm getting that from Whitney Webb, by the way. She came on here. So he went with Epstein to map the children's brainwaves in Africa.
That's
and,
awesome.
But it was using his.
Good for him.
They're all fucking dorks. So you could just, So Sophia the robot. See that? It was supposed to be like an AI friend for girls that teach about science that also records your daughter and sends the information.
Punch that thing in the face.
But he also fucked it too many times and he got caught doing it.
That's why its face is
So-
all mashed in and rubbery
You
looking.
understand the name Sophia? Why that's
They
significant?
only built one and he's been fucking it every
Get out!
3 times a day, every day
out!
for 3 years.
Yeah, well,
Fucking have some
that's why they
decency.
censor it so they can't rat on it. Do you ever see Bina, B-I-N-A, that robot?
BINA.
Put in Bina.
The Beano
There you
robot.
go.
Oh no.
Bina 48, yeah.
Please stop fucking me.
Now, if you like Sophia, I
Please
wanna-
stop fucking me.
What's wrong with my head?
Yeah. That's the wife of Martine, you know the highest paid female CEO, right? Of course you do. Martine Rothblatt, who's the highest paid female CEO is a dude, and that's his wife.
No.
And that's that's the inventor of Sirius XM radio.
Wow, look at this fella.
Look at this fucking Lex Luger looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's-
And this lovely lady did a TED talk about things I've learned since being a woman,
Yeah,
which is hilarious.
powerful.
So this is the reincarnation of.
So the robot,
So
they made a robot that looks like
His
this
wife.
fella's wife.
Is that real?
yeah. Because the trans thing's just a stepping stone to like some kind of Westworld thing where you put
Right.
your brain in the.
Okay, I'll bite. In Vermont.
Now, what's with this horrifying?
E.T. You don't like a?
My real name is Bina48. What is your real name?
Bina Rothblatt. Do you
It's like
ever
Whoopi
sing?
Goldberg, Bina
As
Rothblatt.
far as musical instruments go, the only thing I really want to do now is play the harmonica. Something I can carry around, something that's fun. I'm thinking but can't think of what else to say.
My husband cut his off, and now
I suck the
I have to be
wounds.
cool with it.
Versus computer.
Yo,
Who will win? The face-off.
Computer.
Computer will win. Like, bet on computer.
XM radio is cool. I thought of XM Turbo.
Yeah. So anyway, Sophia, that other robot. You know what that means? You know the Baphomet drawing you always see, of the goat head with the tits and the dick.
Yeah.
Okay. So that Baphomet, that name, that's some cipher. That means Sophia. Because all these people are into that fucking weird.
How do you get Sophia from Baphomet?
Some fucking French guy. You'd get it by being gay. Yeah, it just means wisdom. So,
Well, type in Baphomet
There's
etymology.
two female
Chris.
names that are really isn't not Laurel. What's the other one?
Lilith.
Lilith.
yeah, Lilith is that's like lore. Like Baphomet's not an actual like guy. See how it says the story they always tell is they think they were misspelling Mohammed, but that's not what was happening. It was Gnostic shit. Like the Templars went over there and they found out like it wasn't how they thought it was, and you know, like whatever Christian scripture, they already didn't like the church. So they go to the Middle East and they're like, oh, you guys do a very different religion than I was told. They get all these like, see, and you get killed for that. You can't like come back with it. So that's why they got all secret. And Sophia means wisdom. And so that started. Then when they came back, you know, they killed them. The church and King Philip, I guess, to like take their money. And then the Templars kept that shit going, and that's Freemasons do it. It's like a lot of groups. A lot of groups have like that Sophia and Gnostic shit. Was I watching you guys talk about occult shit at one point on this?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I know Harry Potter glasses when I fucking see.
Will you watch the 5-hour, the Patreon unlocked 5-hour podcast?
No.
Oh, okay.
Wait, that's what it is?
That's where we talk about the cult shit, but we wait till we're 5 or 6 hours.
For
in.
we go into the Freemason meeting and a bunch of fat guys and PT Cruisers told us that.
Well, Sophia is just means love of wisdom, doesn't it? Can you type
It
in
means wisdom.
type in Sophia etymology? Perverted wisdom. Yeah, there you go. It's just
Yeah,
Greek for
well,
wisdom.
let me tell you the ultimate wisdom right now. I don't know if you've covered
Well,
this.
wisdom has a light side and a dark side. It's the pursuit of the dark side.
But here's the secret that they all know. I'm just going to tell it right now. A hole's a hole. That's the ultimate. It turns out the ultimate thing at the top of the pyramid is learning a hole's a hole. And that's what Diddy taught Bieber and
Meek.
Usher and Meek.
Does Bina 48 know this?
I mean, I hope her mouth does, because
Hey, there we go. There you go.
I want a harmonica.
give me a Chuck E. Cheese.
You're a jazz blues man.
So all these fucking creeps think they're gonna do a thing where it's transhumanism. So it's transgender now, but it's gonna be, you could be a spider or something, or anything you saw in a computer game.
You can be a spider.
Yeah, you can have a wolf head, and he cut something out of Dune.
Yeah.
Could have 8 legs. But imagine spending $3 million and that's the face. Like, even if they're trying to emulate that pretty black woman, that doesn't look like that woman.
Now, you think I want a
Doesn't
big
look like
mic, a big mic AI. Did you remember when the conspiracy of Obama was that he was Muslim? That was the
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. Ooh.
And then it turned out, no, he was just gay.
Yeah,
His
he's
wife
just-
has a dick. I didn't see that coming.
Just a gay guy. He's just but he can't have normal gay relationships. Although I did see him really happy at a basketball game recently where his best friend put his hand on his leg. And that's always the reveal now. That's the modern black
His best friend,
reveal.
Michelle?
It was another guy that looked like it could have been in like a hard costume, but I don't think he would have. I think he's just super comfortable now.
Well, that fucking letter came out that he wrote to some, like, in my mind, I have sex with men.
Oh,
yeah.
And I try to not be. So that's like that cult, dude. They're all, it's because
try
about
it.
power. Like your asshole is just like socket to plug in.
It's a
That's
power
right,
socket.
to go and charge up.
It's to recharge your power levels.
Yeah.
Your asshole.
Never want to be walking around with a battery at 33%.
Oh, this is a love letter. That's fantastic.
Oh, I didn't know he said it like that.
In the imagination.
I mean, if you say that, you're
That's
gay.
a funny way to pronounce asshole. in
Michelle
the
is saying
imagination.
that
Come in my imagination.
On my way.
Michelle is saying she couldn't stand him for more than a decade. What's that mean?
Because she's an F hag. Because
Wow.
she's a fruit fly.
Is that a thing? A fruit fly? That's
It's-
funny.
yeah.
That's a good one.
By the way, you know the word fascism? It's from fasci, which means a bundle of sticks.
Yes.
So if they hadn't banned fat, you could call it fascism and fascism.
We were just talking about this
We were
yesterday?
just looking up that
Yeah.
up on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so
like
funny.
like you
Baggy
could
fashion.
eat. That's the best tool against fascism is to call it fascism, but you're not supposed to.
Leave me alone.
My mind is androgynous, so like an Obama loves that little creep Yuval Harari.
My mind is androgynous to a great extent, and I hope to make it more so until I can think in terms of people, not women as opposed to men.
You know how fucking
Whoa.
crazy that is?
Wow.
Mike McRae, who does impressions, he does a good Obama. He goes, now listen, that's the kind of things you have to say to a chick with pink hair in art school to fuck her.
He wrote that when he was 21.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then his chef tragically died
Yes.
in a naked paddleboarding accident.
Oh yeah, poor guy.
He cooked some nasty scallops that were fucking 3 days old. They had a fucking game on them. I don't like that at all. I'll fucking kill you for this, you fucking black son of a bitch.
I'm gonna fuck your imagination and I'm gonna leave you where I found you.
I'm gonna put pills up your imagination.
Do you
Yeah.
have an Obama chef dead?
You ever see
It
Hunter
looks like Bill
Biden's
Bellamy.
tattoos on his back?
The
Finger
Finger
Lakes?
Lakes? Yeah. That's
The
right.
demon claw.
He just got him because he used to have a great time at his grandma's house at one of those lakes. That's
Yeah,
all. So
I
he gets
love
all
that
of them.
time. It was such an important time to me, Kurt. I got the tattoo on my back.
Booty chef. I cooked y'all up some booty. Hey y'all, I cooked y'all up some booty.
Swimming's hard for me.
He served it raw.
Alright, to-do list for the week. I got robbed, I took a bath, now go on Wikipedia. You know, it's pretty hard to go, hey y'all, Scott here, here's a Wii U, when you just got robbed of everything that you hold dear, so why not? Let's take a look at the game consoles that were held the most dear to the most people based on their sales. Of course, you may go, Scott, you were just robbed of everything. How do you have consoles to talk about? See, that's where you're wrong. I plan ahead of time. I have theft-proof items. I just spit on them a lot, that usually does the trick. My game console's still better than yours, just look at my resume! See, there's a major difference between a video game player and a video game talker. Guess which one I am? What was I just doing? It's fine, I can go without talking about video games, I can just play them and everybody's happy. Wario. See, R-Type has to care about how well a video game company is doing. It's like rooting for your favorite sports team if you didn't even watch them play. I didn't buy Bravely Default 2. Gosh, I sure hope it does well. It just makes you feel good seeing the company that makes your favorite game system doing well. Like, man, there's gotta be some overworked employees in there. It's also just interesting to analyze those sales numbers. Why are they going up? Why aren't they going up? Why don't I play video games instead of talking about how much they sold and why you should care? How about this? Let's take a look at the 14 best-selling consoles of all time. If I don't convert you to a video game talker by the end, I'll officially play a video game. There's a lot riding on this. Of course, let's remove consoles that are still being actively sold, so anything post 2017, because those numbers will forever be changing. I always looked at that best-selling video game consoles of all time page on Wikipedia back when I was a kid. It was cool to see what was the most popular and think about why that might be. Why did this console sell so well, or not as much as it could have? If we actually figure it out, who knows, maybe we can more easily predict what will happen in the video game industry. The SNES being in number 14, see what I can amount to? The Super Nintendo Entertainment System sold just over 49 million units. What a little bitch. Yeah, only 49 million units, which is quite good. I mean, it is one of the best. But when talking about the most successful game systems of all time, numbers in this region aren't normally brought up. It's crazy to me that some of the most iconic systems out there, the NES, Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, Atari 2600, sold as few units as they did. Now, 49 million is still a lot, but the SNES didn't do as well as it could have. It's hard to believe, but ever since the NES, Nintendo systems were going down in unit sales. The SNES sold 13 million less than its predecessor, and with the sheer quality of games that are released on it, we need to expand the definition of treason. However, the sales decrease makes sense for a couple of reasons. To many consumers, the Nintendo Entertainment System was merely the hot toy for a few years. The idea of upgrading your video game console to the next big thing, it didn't make much sense to them. Why would I get that new Nintendo? This one works just fine. And it smells. They viewed it as a toy or something along the lines of a VHS player, and the only reason why you'd upgrade either of those is if your last one broke. But I think what made an even bigger difference was the Sega Genesis. You hear a lot of people that went from the original NES to the Sega Genesis. Yeah, treason. The NES didn't face as much competition. Anybody that got in its way, it has a body count. I mean, any competitors just weren't exciting. Nobody looked at an Atari 7800 going, damn. The Sega Genesis was Nintendo's first piece of major competition. Without it, obviously, I think the Super Nintendo would have sold significantly more. But as it stands, I'd say it sold as well as it did due to amazing games and loads of them at that. Though it didn't sell as much as it could have due to heavy competition from Sega and the climate of upgrading video game consoles at the time. And that's just sad. The Xbox One, estimated to have sold roughly 51 million units, not bad. The PlayStation 4 absolutely demolished the One by selling over twice as many consoles. Now, to be fair, the Xbox One is a week younger than the PS4. So it's been on the market for less time, let's give it that. But the Xbox One struggled to put much of a dent into the PlayStation 4's tyranny. And if you were there during both consoles' reveals, you know why. The PS4 had a nearly flawless track record with fans from reveal to release. Sure, getting rid of backwards compatibility was lame, but hey, here are games and a system. Holy shit. The Xbox One's reveal was watered down by talks about Kinect, TV, and streaming functionality, watching live sports titles, Call of Duty. It was everything people despise about the Xbox 360 at this point, wrapped up in a neat little piece of shit. As time went on, it was revealed the console would require an internet connection to work. It would block used games from being played, and the system would retail for $499. And at E3 2013, Sony revealed that the PS4 wouldn't be doing any of this and cost $100 less. Spec sheets showcased how the PS4 was actually more powerful than the Xbox One, and the games Sony revealed for the console, I mean, they weren't amazing, but they were games. That initial reveal ruined Microsoft's chances to sell more Xbox Ones. Ever since, you just ask, why would I buy that instead of a PS4? And honest to God, I don't know any live being who answered that. The exclusive games just weren't there. The PS4 took a bit to get some genuine must-have exclusives, but when they started hitting, it was already all over for Xbox. Their exclusives were either more Halo, Gears of War, and Forza, or some of the most forgettable exclusive games I've ever seen for a system. And a lot of the best games you could only play on Xbox One, well, they were also available for PC, and or eventually came to other consoles. And even Microsoft mainstays like Halo had a rough time on Xbox One. The Master Chief Collection launched in an abysmal state. Halo 5 was Halo 5. Gears of War just kept trucking along and only really appealed to Gears of War fans at that point. And even then, some Gears of War fans don't care anymore. And Forza's good, but it's fucking Forza! The only reasons to get the Xbox One was for the Xbox Game Pass service, which was a great deal. You get all these different games for a small fee per month. The backwards compatibility they started offering later down the line, which was a legitimate knock against the PS4, which had literally nothing of this nature. Or just because your friends are on Xbox and you wanted to play with them online. There was no other reason to get the Xbox One, but the Xbox brand has millions of diehard fans. No matter what, you want to stick with Xbox, and over time, the Xbox One with revisions became more affordable, consumer-friendly, and powerful than what Sony was offering. Due to its similarities with the PS4, most multi-platform games came to Xbox One, which didn't make it immediately unappealing. Millions of these console sales are from people who literally just play FIFA and Call of Duty. And wouldn't you know, I have a console for you. The Nintendo DS. Coming in at 61 million units, the Nintendo Entertainment System took the world by storm in the mid-80s. You'd think for something this popular and iconic, it would be in the 6 billion units sold range. Like water. Frankly, the NES did a ton of heavy lifting popularizing video games as a viable market, a medium you could trust. The Atari 2600 initiated the home console boom but failed to capitalize on it in the long run, burning retailers and consumers out with the lack of quality and quantity control. Thus, the original Atari only sold 30 million units, which is pretty surprising considering how popular and iconic it was. Though back then, these things were huge investments, especially considering how new the video game industry was. Not as many people were willing to splurge on that kind of entertainment. I'll think about it. The NES effectively doubled Atari's install base by not only being more trustworthy, but being home to games every kid had to play. You needed to get Super Mario Brothers. You needed to get The Legend of Zelda, and these were experiences that would last you a while. A system as popular as the NES in the 80s would have sold twice as many units today. I feel like capping it off at 61 million is just because of it being released in the early days of home console gaming. Because the statistics just don't make any sense. So in 1991, you're trying to tell me only a little over 1% of the world had access to Snow Bros? Okay. Now this is interesting, the Nintendo 3DS. Frankly, I think only 4 people bought these things. They just like getting all the colors. Roughly 76 million sold. That's no easy feat, but that's pretty much half of what its predecessor sold, the Nintendo DS. Spoiler. Why such a steep decline? Gamers would praise the 3DS non-stop, lauding it as this massive success when there were more PSP-like systems that sold more. Like the PSP! And that was considered to be a slight disappointment. But see, gamers like the 3DS, and they aren't people. The 3DS didn't win over the same casual market the DS did, mainly because around this time, those users moved over to smartphone gaming. Any casual-oriented titles on the 3DS that were sequels to DS successes usually didn't turn out that great. I mean, the 3DS was fundamentally a DS with some pro guts. And it's like, casuals don't care if Nintendogs is running on a dual-core CPU now. They already moved on from the DS line of handhelds, and the glasses-free 3D display wasn't gonna bring them back because they weren't interested in buying anything that was 3D outside of a 90-minute trip to the movie theater. Thus, Nintendo's hit list decreased. The 3DS primarily appealed to core fans and kids. And with how cheap the system got, you can't blame some people for jumping into it even if only one game interested them. I know for a fact millions of people would just buy it for one game or two, plus many fans would upgrade their handhelds when new ones would get announced. This number does not represent the amount of active users at one time, not by a long shot. To be fair, you can make that argument for all video game systems, but the 3DS had 6 revisions, with each and every one giving some knuckleheads a reason to upgrade. I've seen people upgrade to the new 2DS XL because it looks so nice. The top screen looks like a smartphone. Yes, they went to public school. The 3DS was a handheld many bought because they wanted Nintendo experiences and they weren't gonna invest in a corpse. Yet outside of that core demographic, there really wasn't a reason for most casual users to care about the system. It looked like a kid's toy. Many people were embarrassed to play it in public. Yeah, well, guess what? It doesn't want to be seen being played by you. I mean, Nintendo's advertising during this generation was so bad that many haven't even heard of this thing yet, and when they did, can you blame people for being embarrassed for liking Nintendo? But because of a vast and appealing lineup of software, consistent hardware revisions, and a gimmick that got some people interested at launch, the 3DS sold well. Just not as well as other Nintendo handhelds. What happened here? The day the PSP sells over 80 million is the day well, I don't want to finish that sentence and f myself over. How did the PSP sell around 81 million units? Who talks about this system anymore? The PlayStation Portable was a big deal, no doubt, but anybody I knew who had one, I never saw them play it. Fast forward to today, and it's not discussed nearly as much as you'd think it would be, considering it sold as many units as it did. Now, that may be because I'm sheltered, but the PSP overall seems to be something most people look back at fondly, but don't want to revisit a ton. Kind of like an old iPod, like, oh man, so many memories with this thing. Want to use